Question number 1, and this came from YouTube. But doesn't whole prey mean the fur and feathers should be included too? Yes, that is correct. I spoke about one of my friend's dog, a Burble, South African Mastiff, South African Bull Mastiff, absolutely massive dog, Penny. She is a bit annoying actually. It's just part of the breed, in my opinion. Beautiful dog, a bit annoying, very needy. It's a guard dog. And in the video on the channel, I recount the anecdote of the dog going for a walk with my friend and the dog getting a pigeon and eating a pigeon. And my friend literally turned around, and by the time he realized, the pigeon was already in her mouth. And the fur and the feathers and everything dogs would eat in the wild would go in their mouth. And so that was the first time actually I had seen it live, a dog eating something whole, as it were. So Penny got a pigeon with all the feathers and the beak, and she ate everything. She ate absolutely everything. Big dog, big mouth, big head. And yeah, so whenever we talk about whole prey ratios, fur and feathers, yes, those are sources actually of insoluble fiber. And they contain something called manganese, which is a component that helps dogs and us replenish what we are consuming in terms of cartilage and other connective tissue. So very, very interesting. Yeah, whenever we talk about whole prey and adhering to whole prey ratios in dog food, fur and feathers are actually inside this definition. This applies a lot more to people who DIY their dog food, and they just maybe sometimes fail to include a lot of very vital ingredients, like we have spoken many times before, liver or kidneys or bone, or they fail to rotate the meat, so again they fail to include fur or feathers. And so, yes, whole prey ratios, do they include fur and feathers? Yes. Next question. I recently cancelled my membership in a holistic organization I belonged to for 5 years because they gave a webinar promoting vegan diets for dogs. This is very sad. And this is a response, I think, from Mama Bear, who's one of the supporters of the channel, so thank you very much. And this was a video I have recently done on Omni, and they are coming out with cruelty-free chicken for cats. And their big edge is that they want to introduce, or they have introduced, plant-based diets for dogs. And now they want to do something, if not similar, something with a very similar flavor to cat food. And so money talks at the end of the day. So this lady says that I belonged to for 5 years because they gave a webinar promoting vegan diets for dogs. Money talks, and we aren't just talking about small sums of money. If you have a big firm behind a brand or a particular service, think of some of the services you consume or people consume in the pet food industry, right? Let's have a bit of a roundup. We have venture backed, so very, very big companies with a lot of money. Jollies. So Jollies is backed by, I think it's TDR Capital, a huge private equity firm. They have just raised another £120 million, right? Button Up Box, they are venture backed. They're not a limited company, mom and pops, as my lovely American audience would say. We are talking about Barking Heads. We are talking about Crave with Mars, Spectrum Brands. All these companies have money. And the money they have, they spend on marketing. And there are different ways to spend your money on marketing. And if you are a holistic, vegan, cruelty-free sort of ethos company, you want to be seen at holistic organizations. And so, is it sad? Yes. Is it business? Yes. Should you fall for the propaganda? No. Are you going to fall for the propaganda? Probably not, because you watch this channel and you have wits about you. So whenever people, which is one of the things I say on the video in Omni, if you see something that's not quite right, don't buy it. Speak maybe against it. Speak against it with facts, which is what I did on the video. And that's, in my opinion, the right way to do it. Another comment, rice is horrible for dogs. Why on earth they recommend it when a dog is having digestive issues is insane. Yes, so this is standard veterinary advice, and if you go to any Facebook group, you will see this advice. Oh, my dog has been on rice and chicken for the past 3 days. Oh, my dog has been eating chicken and pumpkin for the past 3 years. And rice is still very, very common. It's very common practice. It's very common to tell people to feed rice. And I hate rice for dogs. It's not biologically appropriate. It's a grain. It's inflammatory. If you give your dog rice, it'll go everywhere because they cannot masticate the rice. And so it's an appalling ingredient. It's an appalling food to give dogs. Are people going to stop giving rice to their dogs? Hopefully, if we spread the word. So the next question, or comment rather, in the wild, the wolf would eat stomach contents first, then the liver. This is theory. This is theory. If you watch a lot of documentaries like I do, not just about wolves, but about the savannah, Africa, lions, hyenas, they sometimes eat whatever they can get their mouths into, really. It's not just that they go for something first. They sometimes actually go for the rear, which is a big part of the animal. If, let's say, a lion catches a monkey and they start eating their behind, because that's how they eat. That's how they catch the monkey first. It's the most vulnerable part of the monkey, and so they just start like tearing chunks away. Just like with hippos, although hippos don't really have natural predators. But like with buffalo, for example, that's the hippo was a bad example. But with buffaloes, they mainly start eating the back first, and then they get into the stomach or the stomach area. So we are just like playing with semantics, in my opinion. What do wolves eat first? At the end of the day, they would eat the whole thing if they could. They would eat absolutely everything apart from the carcass, and that's what they eat. Raw feeding has become a virtue for fools who don't really understand canine metabolism proper. If you understand dogs, kibble is a great addition for carbs. This is an absolute banger of a comment because it's so wrong on very, very many levels. So carbs. Let's talk about carbs. Let's talk about the role of carbohydrates. So the role of carbohydrates is to be converted into glucose, and glucose is the quote unquote sugar me and you and dogs and cats and everything needs to live, needs to be fueled, needs to see, to get pregnant, to do all these vital things. Carbs get converted into glucose in the liver. The pancreas processes it, and that's how people and everyone in the animal kingdom lives, pretty much. Glucose. That is the right way to fuel a body. Now, dogs and cats are more carnivores than anything else. They're more carnivorous than anything else. And so they can eat meat and fat, and with those amino acids in the proteins, or even with those fats in the fats they eat, they can convert those into glucose in a process called gluconeogenesis. That's what it's called. So they can metabolize, synthesize amino acids into glucose. And so they don't need carbs. They don't need any starches. They don't need broccoli. They don't need rice. They don't need kibble. They don't need this. They don't need that. If you want to feed your dog kibble, that's fine. If you want to feed your dog whatever you want to feed your dog, that's your prerogative. Whatever. I'm not really against it. But it's a great addition for carbs. Dogs do not need carbs. They make their own blood sugar. They make their own glucose from amino acids, from proteins. And they can actually convert fats into glucose. So the one who doesn't understand canine metabolism is you, my friend. Raw feeding has become a virtue for fools. I think that raw food is fresh food, and fresh food, it will always be better than processed food. Are there wonderful kibbles? Yes. Is raw feeding for everyone? No. Should everyone raw feed? No, I don't think so. Is fresh food better? Yes. So maybe the fool is not me. Kuraripa says, as a vegan myself, I would never put my carnivorous animals on a vegetarian pet food, and I have gotten a lot of hate from fellow vegans for refusing to cause malnutrition in my carnivorous animals for my ethics. In my opinion, forcing our carnivorous animal to be vegan is not vegan at all, because for me, veganism is about helping all animals, and I am not helping my dog or cat by forcing them to eat an improper diet. People who don't want to feed a carnivorous animal a carnivorous diet should not opt to be the carer for a carnivorous animal. Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. Vegans like CrossFitters, or I'm a CrossFitter, by the way. People get very tribal whenever we talk about different things. And vegans sometimes can get a bit tribal, and they can get a bit cagey in the way they conduct themselves. I absolutely agree with everything you say. Plant-based diets for dogs or cats are pretty poor. They're really poor. You as a person and as a vegan, you can make the decision. You can make an active and informed decision. You are against cruelty. You are against this. You are against that. I don't like animals to suffer. I don't like this. I don't like factory farming. I don't like pigs not being able to move in the crates. I completely agree and emphasize with that. But yes, whenever it comes to cats and dogs, they eat more meat than anything else. So yeah, I completely agree with your comment. Thank you so much for the question. Another comment was 30% protein is far too much for the average pet dog. A lot of working dog food is less or similar. And this was a comment relating to a brand of working dog food. So working dog food is just a fad, basically. So working dog food, forget about it. It's just a VAT thing. If we buy dog food for working dogs, we do not pay VAT. We don't have to charge VAT in the United Kingdom. And so this is just another scheme that certain companies adhere to so that they don't need to pay or reclaim VAT, which is an easier way to conduct business sometimes, because VAT can be like 20% and can dislodge your numbers as a business. So working dogs, forget about it. All dogs should be eaten roughly the same unless they have dietary requirements, i.e. pancreatitis, diabetes. If they are very active, they'll need more, and maybe the rotation of the meats will be a bit different, but they all need the same. 30% protein is not enough. That's the bottom line, my friend. So if you feed your dog a brand of dog kibble, you should aim for maybe 33 as a baseline. If you have a kibble that only provides 29, 30, 25, you should add some meat on top, in my opinion. Meat is the most important thing. Meat is what costs money. Meat is the thing that gets our dogs and cats going. So 30% protein is not far too much. It's not enough, actually. Working dog food is a VAT workaround in the United Kingdom. I have made videos about this. I've exposed VAT and working dog food. So feed your dog as much meat as you can, and forget about feeding your dog too much meat, not enough meat. This too much meat argument is a bit ridiculous sometimes, and people, I don't know why they pursue it. We sometimes get people coming to our branches and they will be telling us to that they want to change the food because so and so has told them that the food they are feeding is too high in protein and the dog is going mental because of it. The dog's not going mental because the dog is very well fed and has a lot of protein in their diet. The dog is mental because the dog is not very well trained, and the trainer can't get hold of the dog or control the dog. That's why they are trying to blame the diet, and they're trying to blame anyone else but themselves. So everyone else sometimes is self-interested whenever it comes to food and dogs, and they all have an agenda. I don't think that's right. And because I don't think that's right, we try to speak out about it. But in a sense, if you have a working dog, feed them as much protein as possible. A lot of working dog foods are horrible because they are so high in grains that it's absolutely appalling. It's ridiculous the amount of grains they eat. And it's not fair. It's not fair on a dog who's helping you, who's going on about their life and devoting their life helping livestock and helping you as a farmer, or you catching whatever you need to do with the dog. So inform yourself. There's many videos I have made on working dog food, what to feed, what not to feed, and that would be very, very interesting for you to delve inside of that new untapped knowledge, basically. And by the way, please like and please subscribe. Please, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm really happy about that. I am going to do a little segment on something else later, but first we have two comments from TikTok. Would you buy a robot dog? Would you? I mean, this is the argument I was making the other day on a video. Would you buy a robot dog, but not a robotic or robot dog as you imagine them today? Not a bunch of metal, not just like a piece of metal. How about like a Terminator like robot, but with cuddles instead of weapons? If you could have a dog that never dies and it's always with you and displays the traits of like a CGI sort of dog, would you? People say, fantastic idea. A robotic pet dog knows what it will be able to transmit back to its manufacturer. Paul Nightingale 94 says, yeah, that's true. They would obviously be in touch with their manufacturer, so they would be reeling information back. Mr. Wolf, I defo cannot get one. Pets passing away is too difficult. I won't be having another when my dog current passes. So there you go. One doesn't, one does or would get one. Yeah, pets passing away. It's impossible sometimes. I often talk about my dog changing my life and the way I see things. And if that's just me, I would imagine it's the same for everyone or most of you. Your dog or your cat will have changed your life. So, I'd never get one. Great. So, would you get a pet robot? Would you get a robotic dog? Maybe not just one right now, but maybe in a few years when everything is a bit more advanced and you can get something that actually looks and feels sort of like a dog. Would you? I don't know. In any case, please let me know any comments. Please leave any questions. We will keep doing these Q&As. It's my favorite part of the week, and I hope it's your favorite part of the week. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.